Parliament must ensure that investigative agencies respect constitutional obligations and procedural integrity. Madam Speaker, I therefore seek your direction, Honorable Speaker, on the implementation of this request and expect a comprehensive, written, and time-bound response from the Cabinet Secretary. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I yield back to the Honorable Chair. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can see that the Honorable Chege Juguna has done a lot of work on that statement and analyzed it fully. And he has raised very important issues. Would you like to make a comment? Or would you like to go by the request he's making? Because he's indicating the number of days. Would you like to go by those dates?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, every life in this country is very important. And I would understand why honorable colleague is talking with passion. Secondly, they say justice delayed is justice denied. And from the report that we have, even today we were with the DCI as they were handing over this report to us. We told them that is inordinately delayed matter that should be hastened. I would agree with you and we'll take up that with the ministry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I would like you to give him timelines. Can you give timelines?
I think
some of the matters he's raising are just clearly unfair delay.
Yeah.
For example, DNA from 24th of April 2024 to date, really, must it take that long? So I think to be fair to him, give an indication of timelines so that he has a proper feedback to give his constituents.
We'll give the ministry 2 weeks to
Thank
give
you.
us an adequate response.
2 weeks is good. Let's proceed, honorable members. Next is a response to the Honorable Deco Barrow, member for Garissa Township, from Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. Is the member in the House? In the absence of the member, the response will be, the response will be tabled and he'll find a way of getting it from our table office. Thank you. And since the chair is in the House, Chairman, please table that response on record to the Honorable Decor Barrow, member for Garissa. The Honorable Yusuf, member for Kamukunji.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have the pleasure of presenting a response to a request from the Honorable Major Deco Barrow, the Member of Parliament for Garissa Township constituency, on the non-implementation of a court judgment on compensation for the late Abdullahi Barredes. In the absence of the MP, I'll submit this statement, table this statement.
Very much. You have another statement to also present to the Honorable Mashua Waithaka, Member of Parliament Kiambu. Is Mashua Waithaka in the House? Yes, Mashua is in the House. So you may proceed, Honorable Member for Kamukunji, on behalf of the Chair, Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Chair of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, I'm making a response to a request for a statement by Honorable Mashua Waithaka, MP for Kiambu Town constituency, on the delayed payment of a subcontractor by the Ministry of Defense. Honorable Madam Speaker, the Honorable Mashua Waithaka, MP, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 44-2C, requested a statement from the Cabinet Secretary for Defense regarding delayed payment of a subcontract by the Ministry of Defense. The Honorable Member specifically sought clarification on the following. 1, a report on the contractual arrangements between the Ministry of Defense, China Wu Yi Company Limited, and Jotua Enterprises in the Uhuru Gardens Environmental Conservation Gallery project, including the obligation of the ministry in ensuring payment of the subcontractors. 2, the reasons for the suspension of the project and halting payment for completed works. 3, the measures taken by the Ministry of Defense to ensure that Jotua Enterprises and other subcontractors are paid for works already completed. And 4, a clear timeline within which payment should be effected to protect Kenyan contractors from unfair treatment in government projects. Honorable Madam Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense responded as follows. 1, on the contractual arrangements between the Ministry of Defense, China Wuyi Company Limited, and Jotua Enterprises Limited in the Uhuru Gardens Conservation Gallery project. The ministry stated that the Uhuru Gardens National Monument and Museum Environment Conservation Gallery project commenced in February 2022, with the main contractor being China Wuyi Company Limited. The company had several subcontractors working under it, among them Jotua Enterprises Limited, whose scope was to construct the environmental conservation building at a total contract sum of Kenya 24,502,810,000. And number 2, on the reasons for the suspension of the project and halting payment for the completed works, the ministry explained that the main contract was frustrated and stalled due to lack of funding. Consequently, the subcontract works also stalled. By the time the contract was halted, Jotua Enterprises Limited had only completed works worth 1,196,504 shillings and 71 cents, of which 63,818 cents had been certified and paid as certificate number 1. The second certificate, certificate number 2, was prepared for works valued at 592,253.86 cents, but remains unpaid due to unavailability of funds. The ministry attributed the delay to unforeseen budgetary constraints faced by the government, which have temporarily affected the availability of funds for the project. 3, on the measures taken by the Ministry of Defense to ensure that Jotua Enterprises Limited and other subcontractors are paid for works already completed, the ministry stated that certificate number 2, amounting to shillings 592,253.86 cents, had been forwarded to the Pending Bills Verification Committee for audit and verification. The ministry assured that once the PBVC process is complete and the claim is validated, payment will be effected accordingly. And number 4, on the timeline on which payment should be effected to protect Kenyan subcontractors from unfair treatment in government projects, the ministry indicated that payment for the verification claim will
Chair,
be
is
made.
it possible to summarize?
I am just finishing, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
The ministry indicated that the payment for the verified claim would be made upon completion of the pending bills verification process, after which the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly would be formally notified of the payment status. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Honorable Nelson Koech, the Chairman, Department Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Mashua Waithaka, is the response satisfactory? Please give him another mic. You can move to your left, okay?
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. The member, Vice Chair of Defense, I would like to know, you have said that the verification process, you've not given a timeline. You're saying that the verification process is supposed to take, supposed to go on, but you have not given us when. Madam Speaker, Mr. Ikumbi, who is the affected contractor, subcontractor, has indicated to me that he has some very pressing matters. In fact, he needs to pay his school fees for his son who is studying overseas, and he needs to know when, at what time, or what timelines, specifically what timelines do you think that he will get paid for his, the work that he has done? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I'll get back to the Honorable Waidaka after consultations with the chairman of the committee.
Chair, I know that you said something to the honorable member. Sorry, I was engaged on something different. The honorable Mbui, is it on the same matter?
No, on a statement, Madam Chair. If you are done with that one.
Okay, I'll come to you. First of all, let's finalize with him. What timelines have been agreed? Please be on record. Did you give him any timelines, Chairman? The honorable member for Kamukunji, representing the chair.
I suggested that we will get back to him within a week after consultation with the committee.
That is fair enough. You had a point of order, Honorable Mbui, because I do not have any response for statement for you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, actually, I'm just seeking your direction and indulgence. There was a statement that had been requested, and the chair of Roads yesterday did report to the House that the circular that had indicated a reduction in the allocation of the 22% and 10% for constituency roads had been withdrawn. Now, I just wanted to say there are two issues. First and foremost, Madam Chair, there is no letter or circular that has gone to withdraw the other one. And so you cannot say that you have withdrawn by speaking on the floor of the House. That needs to go out because our regional engineers are still using the existing circular, which means basically that has not been withdrawn yet. And secondly, which is very important, that he needs to note that already some of the tenders had already gone out based on the original figures. So how they navigate this period has to be thought through and has to also be done very fast. Because if you delay and then later on you say some of the roads will not be done, yet they were tendered and people paid for them, then obviously then it's going to be a crisis and people might end up in court. So he has to hasten the process. I just wanted to ask that you push them to be able to give us a response early next week. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbui. The chair is not in the House. I normally know his position. Leadership is not in the House. What you have said has gone to record, and I think it's a matter that needs to be pursued so that the letter... Would you like to make a comment? Are you in that committee? Proceed.
Thank you, Madam.
Sanei, member for Wajir North.
Thank you, Madam. I'm a member of the committee, and what the minority leader is, he has aptly put the precarious situation in which we have put on Kenyans. And I thought, if I didn't get it right, that the minister himself shall be appearing on Wednesday, next week, to comprehensively answer on the concerns of this House. If that shall not happen, then what you are saying stands, and there is no letter to that effect. We had a meeting yesterday. I will still communicate the same, Madam Speaker, to the chair so that he can come up with something urgent if there is need before the Cabinet Secretary appears on Wednesday by himself. Thank you.
So thank you very much. The Honorable Mwenje.
Just an addition, I actually hope the Deputy Minority Leader would address it. Just to bring to your attention that on the page, the Facebook page for Parliament, it shows there was a meeting yesterday with the Transport Committee, and it plays around with figures. You know, we were discussing 36, then we said we've withdrawn that letter, so we are back at 62. But here it shows that you're saying the new figure is 52 million. So it's important, the committee, I'm getting information from Facebook, but then again, it's our page as Parliament. So that's just information you need to have as you bring the Cabinet Secretary on Wednesday. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Clerk's office to communicate those statements to the chair and also to, yes, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, would you like to weigh on this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is just a big worry. And a big worry that this House seems not to see the danger of this issue of roads and CDF. And I can see, Madam Speaker, these things will go. The way we are just joking, people come, they say this, tomorrow we have given them what they want, next day they are abusing, the whole Parliament has to stop, Madam Speaker. And the leadership must take these things seriously. Seriously. And if they can't, they create as a committee, we will deal with it and make it work.
Thank you, honorable members. I would like us to stick to what we have said, that the clerk's office to ensure that that communication reaches the office of the chair transport, and also so that it's handled. You cannot deal with a written document through spoken word. I believe this is a matter that must be dealt with immediately. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Fourth, report on the implementation status of the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, Circular number 4 of 2025. Resumption of debate.
Honorable members, I do not know whether those who are appearing on the screen have interest in this. On the same? Okay. So we have the Honorable Dr. Shadrach Mwiti. The Honorable Karoli Omondi was on the floor yesterday. You still have your balance of 4 minutes, then we can pick the rest from there. So you proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me begin by reminding this House of certain decisions that were made here by previous members and how they came back to bite them and created what we call intended and unintended consequences. Once upon a time, members of this House passed something that was called Preservation of Public Security Act. It allowed detention without trial. And most of the members who vigorously supported that bill before the end of that decade of the 60s had actually been detained under that law they passed here. Then at some point in 1982, members of this House also passed in a record time, 3 readings, a law inserting Section 2A, making Kenya a de jure one-party state from a de facto one-party state. Within 12 months, those who moved that motion here, those who supported it, had been expelled from KANU and their political careers ended. In 1989, in this country, we had a visit by the then president of Romania, Ceausescu. And among the documents that were signed was a security cooperation arrangement, where Romania, being a hard Stalinist communist country at that time, would offer training on how to deal with dissidents, including torturing them, poisoning them, and all those kind of things. The public officer who signed that memorandum was the first victim under that MOU. He was poisoned and he died. I'm not giving names. These are historical records. You can check the Hansard and other documents, official documents. Why am I saying this? because these circulars, making it mandatory to use e-procurement platform for everybody, reflect that kind of thoughtless executive action or legislative action by those in power. We are now expected, and the directives are coming from a person who had been a member of this House for 15 years. That member, I happen to represent the constituency he had been representing for those 15 years. When he left office 2 to 3 years ago, that constituency had only 30% rural electrification penetration. It had no internet connectivity at all. It had not even a single inch of tarmac road. Today we are being told here, he has signed a circular that everybody who wants to do business with government must do it online. And yet he knows very well that the people of Suba South have no internet connectivity. Not even the national fiber optic cable was ever laid in Suba. So I'm struggling with those things. What am I trying to say? This circular is in itself very thoughtless. Nothing has been presented to this House on the social impact of making procurement mandatory online. Because it will affect even the AGPO, the persons with disability, the women, the affirmative interventions that the government has been making. So we cannot just approve it randomly like that. Mr. Speaker, I urge all the members that we join hands and we adopt this report, annulling the additional 2 circulars, making procurement mandatory online. Because to approve them is actually to invalidate the very essence of public procurement, which is to afford everybody equal opportunity to participate in business. And that we cannot do. And I would like to urge members, first, the circulars are illegal. Section 77 says procurement can be done online or by manual means. The law has not changed. And we cannot allow Treasury or any other government agency to subvert the will of this House when we make a decision like we did in August to annul the other circular. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to annul this report. Madam Speaker, you remember very well, a few years ago, in the Jubilee government, we went through a raft of many of regulations. And some of those regulations were very, very tough regulations. And Madam Speaker, you realize by the time Treasury was doing this, they have never brought regulations to guide us on how they want this to be managed. We've been in this House, Madam Speaker, you've seen how we've gone back with CDF struggling, how you need to move on to ensure things are moving on the ground. The mistake we did was when we were dealing with NCGDF, we needed to have dealt with this. And I know even in this parliament right now, our clerk is struggling. I doubt how he's doing procurement. I doubt how they are procuring anything, because we are just there. And so even this, it is very important for us. We cannot be there to ensure the executive is functioning, and you are killing parliament, the legislatures. And it is time we tell the executive, you want to work well, you have to work well with the legislature, work well with the judiciary. And so it is important when you are coming up with a resolution that you know will define the whole country, then sit with the 3 arms and agree on which is the best way of doing these things, Madam Speaker. And so you find ourselves, why is it that people are struggling in the whole sector, in the whole country? Because of this EGP thing. Because even if you ask right now, has Parliament trained people to go and understand how to do this? I doubt. Have we even trained our officers, even us in our offices? We have not. So why can't we have a clear framework where you train people to understand first what they need to do the time we shall start using this procurement system? Then from there on, you know, we have people now who have understood, and now we can. So why can't you put both systems so that you don't just crash everything? We cannot be like Trump, sorry to say, the way he decided just shut down. We are sort of in a shutdown, even us, like America. And so we must, and I am pleading with CS Treasury, understand the different sectors. We agree we need to use the system. But I think we also need to give it time. Let it just come in seamlessly when we have had all our procurement officers taken for training, and because this system, you as a procurement officer, you do it in your docket, and you have a password. So it's not those days where you'll do it, put it directly on IFMIS. So each person is going to place on IFMIS their own procurements. That is why we are being told you must upload. You must ensure you upload your whole plan. It is good for Kenyans to do tendering all over. I agree with that. But we must agree as a country, we must have stages on this system. And for that, Madam Speaker, I support we annul and we come back here and Treasury must give us regulations since they have not even changed the law. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Mary Emase, member for Teso South. Mary is not in the House. The Honorable Ibrahim Sanei, member for Wajir North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I can't still come to terms with why this government is so much concerned and attached to these things they call e-procurement. I can't really understand. Imagine of the fate of somebody from Wajir North, a common mwananchi who is illiterate and illiterate, and who has all the right to also participate in the procurement processes of this country, just like any other citizen. For us, internet is still something abstract in the minds of people from northern Kenya. Is this in furtherance to marginalize the already marginalized? What is the purpose? What is the import of this report that's coming back to this House? Who is to legislate? Is it this House? Members of this House? I've never, in the hierarchy of laws, I've never heard of the impact of a circular. It doesn't make sense. And then you proclaim mandatory use. You as who? As who? It is this House, it's either from the Constitution, statutes from this House, precedents that can at least influence how we can reason around in this House. Madam Speaker, regulations through delegated legislation. What else? What is a circular? What effect does it have, and who can call it mandatory use of it? If anything, I can tell you it is not acceptable. It's not accessible to Kenyans. 70% of Kenyans do not access internet services. So why do you subject us? Why do you sit from the comfort of your tables? You have been appointed courtesy of delegated authority of His Excellency the President. On behalf of Kenyans, not to abuse it. You don't have de facto authority to make laws. Then you claim that there must be mandatory use of e-procurement. A CS Treasury, who gives him this authority? And the other circular emanating from somewhere else, I don't know where they are getting this authority from. It is only the bench, the legislature, that can at times through positive activism, that can legislate from the bench. And that doesn't mean that they can come up with rules. They can only impact the House. They see that there is a lacuna in the law. And through that, this House, in effect, comes up with the required laws. How can head of public service make a circular subjecting Kenyans to a mandatory thing? From where? Under the sky. Where does that come from? Mbadi, the CS Treasury. He has been a very respectable, seasoned, and somebody, a friend of ours, over time. So, in a short span of time, he's coming up with authority that is not anywhere in law, unfounded. Madam Speaker, I believe there are no systems countrywide that has been tested and tried for e-procurement to be a successful thing. Then how can you call it mandatory? The use of mandatory itself is sinister. I believe it's a way to help the corrupt to be more corrupt. They want to use internet services to steal and pilfer more resources in favor of the corrupt. There's nothing else for Kenyans in e-procurement system. I oppose.
The Honorable...
I support the report of the delegated legislation.
Thank you. The Honorable Robert Mbui, member for Kadhiani.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. First and foremost, I'm very happy with the committee implementation, Madam Speaker, for the good work that they have done. First and foremost, this problem started with the circular that was written by PPRA, Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, indicating that every government or state organ must procure through the e-government procurement. Now, the committee has actually gone further because the House had already annulled that particular circular and has identified that there's another circular from the CS for Treasury and another one from the head of public service on the same, continuing to go against the law. Madam Speaker, it's important that we confirm that a circular is actually a statutory instrument. And Madam Speaker, it's important that we note that the definition of a subsidiary legislation under the statutory instrument is very broad. And it talks about a rule, an order, a regulation, a direction, a form, tariff of costs or fees, letters patent, commission, warrant, proclamation, bylaw, resolution, guidelines, or other statutory instruments issued, made, or established in the execution of a power conferred by or under an act of parliament. Madam Speaker, the circular, therefore, by a strict reading of that definition, is actually a statutory instrument. And there is power conferred in every law to regulatory making authorities so that they can be able to make regulations. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, they must be following the law, the parent law. In this case, the parent law is the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, which clearly defines that you can do procurement in two ways. You can either procure manually or procure electronically. Now, it is surprising that the CS, the head of PPRA, and the head of public service can decide to outlaw a law. If the law says that you can procure manually, who are they to make a decision and say that if you procure manually, you have broken the law? So, Madam Speaker, it's important that to note that Article 94 of the Constitution, 94.5 of the Constitution says nobody, no person other than Parliament has the power to make provision having effect of law. So basically what they are doing is basically breaching the Constitution and also the laws that are already there. So I want to request that the CS must respect the rule of law. The CS must respect Parliament, considering CS is actually an expert in the executive who has drawn his expertise from Parliament. Why would he suddenly start despising the House that trained him for him to become an expert? So, Madam Speaker, I think it is important that the executive respects the House. Madam Speaker, as I finish, even the Ministry of Education is also becoming notorious for issuing circulars that have force of law. And recently we invited the CS for Education to come and explain a circular that he had done. And Madam Speaker, I was shocked in a response that is in writing that has been sent to this House. He says that his circular is not made pursuant to any written law, but it is made pursuant to general executive power. Madam Speaker, I think there is an outrageous belief in the executive that they have some general executive power to do anything and everything they want. This House must stand firm. We are going to support the committee's the recommendation that we annul, and any other circular that they purport to present to citizens of this country, we shall also annul. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Dr. John Mutunga, member for Tigania West. Is it on this one or on T? On the next one. The Honorable Peter Salasia, member for Mumias East.
I'm here. Madam Speaker, I stand here in solidarity with the report that has been presented by the committee, and I have enough reasons to support that report. And maybe before I speak, there are my reservation that I would want to speak to the Treasury or the CS of the Treasury, Banambadi, that Parliament is powerful. We are the people's representative. And whatever we speak here in the House, we are speaking on the behalf of millions because the Constitution gives us that power. And there is no any way that as a CS, you can wake up with the regulations that does not resonate with the situation of this country. We remember even the president promised this country with the internet connectivity for the entire country. But up to today, that internet is nowhere. So there is no any way, even up to now, there are areas that even to make a phone call, you have to climb on a tree to make a phone because of the connectivity. And also remember, there was also a report that was supposed to be put across, whereby they were doing the report to know how this EGP can work. And there were counties like the Busia, Elgeyo Marakwet, to see if this thing can work. But that report has never been worked on. And even that, it showed that the Busia County and Elgeyo Marakwet that were given us the feasibility study to enhance, to see if this e-procurement can work, it was never accomplished. Even these counties, everything has been paralyzed for the last 6 months, since July. Nothing is happening in this country. They are lying to the country people that this EGP is going to work against the corruption. But there's nothing like corruption being worked there. You look at even the counties right now, they are only been receiving salaries from July, August up to now. We are now in the second quarter. Nothing is happening because no one is ready to use the EGP, or they are not being prepared to use it. So I want to ask the government not to rush things and get them wrong. The way they are getting wrong with the SHA is the same way they are getting wrong with this EGP. We are asking them to nullify everything and listen to the report of this House so that we can make sure that this country is moving down. Madam Speaker, if we are not going to make our statement to be heard, then I think we are not going to be doing justice for this country. It is high time that we take the necessary action against the CS, so that if he fails again to allow the procurement to proceed, then we have to make sure that we impeach this CS so that he can know that is not above everyone. Even the president is number 5, and this House comes number 2, according to the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving this time to speak.
The Honorable Beatrice Adagala, member for Vihiga County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to speak on the report of the delegated committee. I want to thank the committee for doing a very good job, and we want to ensure that this report is supported at whatever cost. Madam Speaker, when you talk of internet coverage, most of our villages are not compliant. In some areas, even as far as my county, Vihiga, some people, when they want to talk on internet, on phone, they have to go to the highest places, the hills, the trees, and other places. Internet is not covered there. So when you talk of us using internet all over, it is not workable. Therefore, this will be discriminating against women who will want to do tenders with the government. This will be discriminating the youth who are not able to access internet to do business with the government. I therefore, on that note, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the report by the committee should be followed to the latter. I support that report with all my body parts. It should remain the way it is. Madam Speaker, let us not discriminate. Let us not take other Kenyans for granted. Let every Kenyan enjoy, whether they have internet or not. I don't think the ministry should dictate to this House what should be done. Those circulars should be withdrawn the way the committee has put this report. I therefore want to support it with all my body parts. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Patrick Macau, Commissioner and member for Mavoko constituency.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, from the onset, I want to support the report of the committee.
that this electronic government procurement be regulated properly or be stopped or thrown away completely. Madam Speaker, let me speak from own experience. Today, this parliament, we have so many things that are not taking effect. Reason being, we cannot. You know, the unfortunate part of this is that government agencies, government institutions have money, but they cannot spend because the requirement by Treasury is that you use electronic government procurement. Madam Speaker, this spans from all the way on how you do e-tendering, how suppliers are supposed to register, how bids are supposed to be submitted, how contracts and awards and their management are supposed to be done, how you are supposed to audit all these trades. Madam Speaker, this requires that system be tested first before it is implemented in a city government like this one. Madam Speaker, we cannot introduce systems midway. When the budget of this country was being done, nobody was informed of EGP. It has come midway. Now, as leaders, we are supposed to ask ourselves, is the EGP supposed to help performance? Is it going to improve performance? Or is it going to improve productivity? Madam Speaker, from where I sit, I think the government should have taken enough time to understand the system, make sure that infrastructure in terms of internet, in terms of everybody being eligible to digital platforms is going to be available. But as it is now, 3/4 of this country, I want to say that internet is not possible. 3/4 of the people who are interested in doing supplies and procurement by government have no access to internet. So, Madam Speaker, I think I will throw it back to this parliament. We are the budget-making process body of this country. But, Madam Speaker, the way Treasury is behaving, it is not, we cannot even say it is Treasury. It is the executive that is interfering with the workings, functions of this House. And I'm urging members of this House, it is high time we stood firm for this House so that we can legislate, oversight, and represent our people. Right now, in representation, we are messing up because our people cannot do business anymore. Our suppliers, our contractors, our vendors cannot be paid. They cannot even apply for the tenders because, Madam Speaker, it is quite difficult for it to have an healthy business doing environment. So, Madam Speaker, I support this committee, and I think this House should summon the CS Treasury. I'm embarrassed sometimes. When names are brought to this House, all of you, I see you clubbing, saying that's a good person. The moment they get into those offices, the first culprit to be taught how things are done, it is this House. Madam Speaker, it is high time. Some names when are brought in this House, we should be asking questions. Are you going to represent us? Are you going to represent Kenyans? Are you going to represent the interests of our youth, our women? What happened to the 30%? Eh? Mr. Speaker, I think it is important and imperative for this House so that we are not taken for granted. Even the executive now has to be brought to its senses that this is a House that makes laws. Yes. And as a previous speaker said, we should be careful. The laws we make this House should not come back here and hit us, consumers. Right now, your CDF is at risk. Maybe some of you, you're not going to procure. Some of you are not going even to give bursary. If you see the forms I have circulated for how you are going to give bursaries, you are being stage managed. So, is it a part of the EGP? Is it a part of Treasury trying to gaggle us? Is it a part of the executive making members become beggars? Is it a way of executive making you go to them every minute you want to do any development? Should you be kneeling every time? Members of Parliament, let us make this House the traditional belief that this is the savior of this country and Kenyans start believing in this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I mean, I start respecting this House, sorry.
Madam, we hear.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I start to support the report of the committee. And Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that the country is on a stop mode. Honorable Speaker, we have institutions like hospitals, KPLC, which should supply our constituencies with transformers. They have not been able to procure. And Honorable Speaker, you wonder when such a matter comes on board and the court has pronounced itself, this House has pronounced itself, but the CS keep on going to the rallies, giving memos, threatening the procurement officers as if he's not part and parcel of this government. Honorable Speaker, shutting the country on a memo is quite unfortunate. With inadequate technology, considering our constituencies, majority of the rural constituencies are covered 50% or even less with electricity. And electricity being a platform which leads to internet connectivity. It goes without saying that the CS, the Treasury, and all the team who came up with this mind had really no understanding or good intention to the businessmen and women who wish even to tender very small tenders at the constituency or county government level. Honorable Speaker, lack of skills to the procurement officers is another headache. And I wonder what happens with this government. It's like there is an urge to change everything. Today we change NHIF to SHA. We change university education mode to a new one. Now we change the ordinary constitutional procurement process to e-procurement without considering that the staffs need to be trained, electricity connectivity is a factor, internet connectivity is a factor, Wi-Fi, particularly the rural constituencies, and this one, Honorable Speaker, just leave members of this House wondering, because Honorable Bandi was a member of this House, so he should have been an enabler to make the country work. As a matter of fact, when Honorable Bandi was selected, I personally said, I think the country is going to stabilize because I know this person, he's an expert in finance, and he's an MP with political knowledge and experience, but far from the truth. He exposed his ignorance, making memos in the rallies, threatening procurement officers, ignoring the court rulings, ignoring this House, and even having audacity to argue that the CS has that power, that memo is so strong. Honorable Speaker, I'm wondering, how will this House legislate? We legislate and put NGCDF into law, a team goes to the court, and NGCDF is removed. We follow the Constitution, which says procurement can be done in either way. Then the CS come again and surprise the country. The government must show goodwill or good intention to any process, particularly in matters of business, which create employment to the same youths who the government is struggling with. Honorable Speaker, having said that, it worries me more when the court pronounces itself, the parliament pronounces itself, and the CS ignore that. So what is this House for? What powers do we have? Why do we legislate? And Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I look forward to this House supporting the committee report and nullifying this memo, let me call the memo from the CS, and asking the CS to style up. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
MP for Tetu, followed by Honorable Kakawuchia. MP. No, it's working.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I support this report that seeks to nullify these two illegal circulars. Mr. Speaker, this country is slowly or gradually marching from being a democracy to an autocracy. A very sad event that is unfolding in our eyes, as members of this House, continue to either stay silent or clap. Why do I say this? Autocracies start with undermining of democratic institutions. And our strongest democratic institution in this country is Parliament. Parliament is the one that has the preserve of making laws. And today what is before us here is a situation whereby the executive deliberately sidelines and undermines the role of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I'm so happy that this motion is getting bipartisan support because we have also been in a fairly divided Parliament. And unfortunately, Parliament has been left holding the short end of the stick time and again. Matters NGCDF, matters KERA, and several other matters where the executive seems either just to ignore Parliament or just do things outside Parliament. And the people who are going to bed with this government must be careful, even when they are members of Parliament, that when it is time to suffer, we all suffer together. So it is very, very important that as Parliament, when it comes to our issues, we stay together. Mr. Speaker, we are not opposed to automation. Automation is a good thing. However, someone told me that in government, the how is even more important than the what. Here we are dealing with an issue of the how. Automation is a good thing. One day we would like to all move to a situation whereby people can procure goods in an electronic manner. But as a country, are we ready? Do we have access to electricity? We are still in a country where more than 2/3 of the country is in darkness. Internet use is is very, very expensive, and very many other challenges. Mr. Speaker, we've been talking about achieving 30% job opportunities for the youth, for women, for the disabled, and the various other marginalized people in our society. This is one way of ensuring that marginalization is even further entrenched if we adopt e-procurement. And we just need to look at a few parallels, Mr. Speaker. We recently rolled out e-citizen, which has, as we speak, we don't even know, we are told sometimes the money goes to a foreign country, it is controlled by shadowy characters who are not known. We hear all manner of things. Mr. Speaker, we also have the share system. Look at the struggles that Kenyans have gone through as we have been waiting for systems to settle. So why not allow a parallel system, a hybrid system, whereby you can do e-procurement, but you can also do manual? Why not also allow a 3-year gradual rollout so that we can even start with one department? We get it right, then we slowly add to another. This thing of mupende musipende, which we have been heard being pronounced that e-procurement is here to stay and it will be used whether we like it or not. Again, Mr. Speaker, are the tendencies of what I'm calling the gradual move from democracy to autocracy through undermining of public democratic institutions. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not an issue of one side of this House. This must be a wake-up movement and a time for all of us as parliamentarians to stay woke, because time and again we are finding ourselves holding the short end of the stick with this executive overreach happening every day in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Raila Kasiwai.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand for integrity, I stand for transparency and accountability. Honorable Speaker, if this system was to help this country to enhance its transparency and accountability, I would be the first person to vote for it and to support it. In fact, today I would be here not supporting the report from the Delegated Legislation Committee, but supporting the implementation of this system. But Honorable Speaker, it is not lost to me that when the team from Treasury went to brief the executive on their willingness and readiness to do a piloting of this system in this country, the executive ordered that even before the piloting is done, the system is rolled out. Honorable Speaker, the reason why this system ought to have been taken through piloting is to help in modification and customization from one agency to the other, especially when it is taken through piloting in certain agencies. Honorable Speaker, that would have helped us to refine the system, to help us understand what are the misses and what are the wins of this system. But Honorable Speaker, that was not done. And that is why it is very unfortunate that the CAS Treasury, Honorable Bandi, would want to make us look like we are opposing what is supposed to help in transparency. But all of us know that his intention is to patronize procurement in this country, and that is what exactly the executive is doing. Honorable Speaker, the haphazard way in which the implementation of this system has been done is suspect, is mischievous, and of course, it sabotages its own intentions right from the word go. And that is what we call ab initio. Honorable Speaker, Parliament is the supreme body in lawmaking in this country. The CS cannot arrogate himself the roles and the mandate to make laws. He doesn't have that. Honorable Speaker, it is the judiciary that should be able to adjudicate all the issues judiciously in this country. The Honorable CS cannot do that. Honorable Speaker, why is the CS so ignorant about the technical challenges that we have in this country? For this system to have been implemented, we ought to have rolled out fiber optic and the internet across the country, Honorable Speaker. I know this might have been promised by the President at some point. And by the way, I'm taken aback. Could it be that the CS Treasury genuinely believed that the whole country is now connected to internet? Honorable Speaker, the Honorable CS must understand that there is difference between what is promised and what is said on podiums and in political rallies at the top of the cars from the reality on the ground. Mambo kwa ground ni tofauti. Me and you know very well and understand so well that we do not have internet across the country, even though the executive, the president, and the minister for ICT have tried to put it across to Kenyans that they have connected the country. That is not true. We know that has not been done. And so, Honorable Speaker, it surprises me that the CS, who ought to be knowledgeable, who ought to be understanding, can actually push on a system that it understands very well it cannot work at this time. And this does not mean that it cannot work in future. But what he's doing now, he's flogging a dead horse. Honorable Speaker, this has had an effect in this country. It has basically sabotaged, locked down cash flow from all government institutions in this country for the last 3 months. And no wonder Kenyans don't have money in their pockets against what had been promised by this government that is going to be putting money in the pockets of Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, the reason why Kenyans are suffering today, the reasons why Kenyans have no cash flow, there is no liquidity in the country, is because there is no money flowing out of government through the supplies. And you know government is the biggest consumer and the biggest buyer in the country. Honorable Speaker, we must remedy this, and unless we want to look at our country going down the drain. Honorable Speaker, I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. On the onset, I want to support the report of this committee, where I'm a member, by saying that this EGP procurement is not going to function in many areas like my county, West Pokot, where even electricity alone is 5% in the whole county. So bringing in this type of system is like locking down my county, and that means nothing will happen. That is because of poor connectivity of electricity. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, this system can will have a risk of data, or I can say cyber security and data risks, because such a system can easily be hacked. As you know, we have these GNCs who are very good at this. So how sure are we that the data of our counties or the procurement officers will be protected? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I think this EGB thing is not going to work in our country. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, setting up alone this system might not be that cheap, because we will require high-level knowledge in terms of procuring the hardware, the software. So, in fact, using this money to set up a lot of money to set up a system that is going to fail us is also a waste of the taxpayers' money, because where do we get money, a lot of money, to set up this high-cost system, which would, that money would be used to do something else? So, Honorable Speaker, I think Honorable Badi should rethink about forcing us to use this system, because to start this system is very, very, very costly. Honorable Speaker, another issue about this system is delays and a lot of bureaucracies. We know that this system is new in our country, and therefore approval alone might even take a lot of time, hence delaying all the programs in our departments, and I think it is not a good thing to implement. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that Mbadi should know that we are in a third world country, and if anything, in other countries where this system has been used, like in Rwanda, it was not done hurriedly like the way it is being done here. There was a lot of piloting, beginning with small departments before it is rolled out to all the departments of the government. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I say EGP system is not the best for our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me also to support the fourth report on the implementation status of the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation and its consideration of the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority Circular number 04 of 2025, presented by the Committee on Implementation. Honorable Speaker, I want to go on record that any system that removes subjectivity and brings objectivity in public finance management, procurement-related activities, must be a welcome system. Must be welcome. Because we have harrowing incidences where the procurement process has been subverted for purposes of benefiting a certain category of people. There are many people in this country who have perpetually participated in procurement process, regardless how good their papers are, but they have never won any tender. There are those people, Honorable Speaker, without even papers, have bribed their way to win tenders, and they have no capacity to deliver those tenders. They have no capacity to deliver the works and services they have been contracted to do. And that's why you end up very many stalled projects, shoddily done works that simply collapse or end up not benefiting the public and there being no value for money. Honorable Speaker, I actually thought when they presented EGP that this was a revolutionary process system that can work out. But the first question I asked myself, I'm not a systems expert, but I've been involved and seen how systems are implemented. They are never implemented at a go. They are implemented in an organized manner, a phased manner, to ensure that any teething problems are addressed in earnest and incorporated to a point that when the system is fully rolled out, it's possible to serve the purpose it was intended to. That's why we pilot system
in small areas, small cohorts, before we roll out the system in Tago. Asking the system to roll out at Tago, I would have surprised. I thought probably they had more better technologies, they had better hardware, they had better bandwidth to enable it to work. But obviously, when I engaged procurement officers, when I engaged the normal contractors and service providers, they told us that system, the way it is designed, cannot work. But Honorable Speaker, the reason why I stand here today to support this report are on 3 or 4 accounts. Number one, Parliament in its wisdom, under the powers granted to it by Article 95, at the various articles, stood here and annulled the circular. For the Cabinet Secretary to proceed and issue subsequent circulars overriding the decision of Parliament is contemptuous, is demeaning, is belittling. This Parliament should not allow that nonsense. Because the moment it quiesces to this kind of approach, then Parliament has surrendered its mandate under the Constitution of Kenya. Second, Honorable Speaker, it's on record that the courts of law have issued injunction stopping the rollout of the system until and unless the issues raised in the petition have been adequately canvassed, addressed, and make sure they comply the principles set out under Article 10 of the Constitution. To proceed again and issue subsequent circulars, that is impunity, that is contempt of court. An administration that purports, Honorable Speaker, to rule by the rule of law, comply with the Constitution, to disregard Parliament decisions, to regard court decisions, is a sure case of a dictatorial government. And we are sliding into authoritarian rule, we are setting up authoritarian institutions that are going to make sure this country does not move anywhere. For members of Parliament, this is now a call to act. We have been subservient for so long. We have been made to become praise and worship members. It's time to stand up and stand up for your cause and protect the constitution of this country, the integrity of this country. We must annul. We must approve this report and make sure this procurement system is not rolled out until the government, the executive, complies with the requirements of the courts of law and the National Assembly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yegon, Honorable Bometist, MP for Bometist.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Personally, also, I would like to support the Delegated Legislation Committee on its report, which has been tabled in the House. And I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, I don't understand as to why this Parliament is there when everything has been done through legislation and has been passed. And you find the minister going ahead and nullifying all what has been passed in this Parliament. And I was asking myself one of these days that why is the minister doing this? And the other day he was in this Parliament. And if he was here, I know he would have supported this report. I don't know what has entered into his mind when he has gone to the executive. Mr. Speaker, it is going to be very, very wrong for the country to go in this direction when the Parliament has passed legislation and we fail to support. We have people across the country. We have talked about the internet. Even applying for this through the internet is giving problems to the people. We want the government to receive all these issues, which has been what they've done, and follow what the Parliament has said and what the Delegated Legislation Committee has given us. So that, Mr. Speaker, we are seen as we are following the law. But if we violate whatever we have passed in this House, it is not going to be good business as usual in the near future. That is why we are finding even the agencies and everybody in the country trying to become so agitative. And agencies are not happy. It's because we tend to violate what has been passed.
this issue of EG procurement, Mr. Speaker, we need to take time and digest it to make sure that it is working. We need to do it and allow the people who doesn't have the internet in the village, in the countryside, to also do the manual procurement. So long as these things are done fairly, we need to support it. Mr. Speaker, I support this delegated legislative that is passed. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I don't see any further interest. Would the mover want to? Is the mover ready to reply? Mover to reply. The Honorable Mwenje, you are the deputy chair of that committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to put it on record because I've noticed members were confusing that this is a report by the Committee of Implementation following the motion that was brought forth by delegated legislation adopted by this House, then referred to the Committee of Implementation for purposes of implementation. Honorable Speaker, first of all, let me thank all the members who've contributed to this bill and to this motion, to this report. And more importantly, Honorable Speaker, it is clear because you can see that there was no member who rose to even not support this motion. Honorable Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary, when he issued that this circular, the head of public service, together with the other annulled circular, those three circulars are what he has been relying on for purposes of EGP. This House nullified Circular 4 of PPRA. Now, these two additional circulars, to make it clear, are the circulars that the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury is relying on for purposes of EGP. Therefore, if this House adopts this report, those two additional circulars stands nullified and EGP becomes a thing of the past, Honorable Speaker. We need to make that quite clear. Honorable Speaker, EGP as it stands, and as a courtesy of these two circulars that are there, violates Article 227, 1 of the Constitution, that provides that there should be the system, the procurement system should be fair, competitive, and cost-effective. This system does not meet those standards. So by nullifying these two circulars, we are actually complying with Article 227, 1 of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, just to make it clear, if the Cabinet Secretary wants to implement EGP, he must amend Section 77 of the PPAD Act, bring it here, and that provision provides for both electronic and manual. He must bring an amendment to this House to amend and create that it be electronic alone. Furthermore, Honorable Speaker, in order for you to activate an electronic system, Section 7(2)(c) of the same Act provides that Treasury shall submit regulations to this House for purposes of creating a procurement system that respects and promotes distinctiveness of national and county levels. Honorable Speaker, you've heard every member speaking on behalf of their various areas and regions they represent, that electricity is not 100%. And Honorable Speaker, even for me as a member of parliament in Nairobi, where we might have electricity connected in my entire constituency, we can tell you we don't have internet all the time. We don't have electricity all the time. So that means, and more importantly, even the hustlers, the low people who are trying to get these jobs, Honorable Speaker, these people cannot meet the standards that have been provided that have been set out by EGP as it stands currently. So, Honorable Speaker, we need to go on record that this House is not opposed to an EGP system. That is not what we are here for. We're not opposed to better procurement systems. What we are opposed to is the executive legislating on behalf of this House. There's a proper procedure that the Cabinet Secretary can follow, and through that can introduce bring it to delegated legislation for purposes of the regulations, and bring it to this House for purposes of the Act, and that will have been sufficient for him to introduce this term. Without that, Honorable Speaker, with this report once adopted, this circular stand nullified. Honorable Speaker, it is my prayer that once we finish this, it will be implemented immediately by Treasury. Make sure that it's followed down to all procurement entities, and failure to do so, Honorable Speaker, that this House is within its right to sanction the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury, which would be a sad affair, considering that only about 15 months ago, that Cabinet Secretary just sat right here next to us, Honorable Speaker. I pray that Honorable Mba will respect the decision of this House. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question that further to the resolution of the House of 19th August 2025 regarding nullification of circular number 4 of 2025 on enforcement of compliance with the mandatory use of the electronic government procurement system, EGPS, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 2092, this House adopts the fourth report of the Select Committee on Implementation on the implementation status of the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of Public Procurement Regulatory Authority Circular number 4 of 2025, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 14th of October, the year 2025, and nullifies Roman 1, circular reference number NT/PPD/1/3/14, volume 6, dated 26 March 2022 by the Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning, directing accounting officers to transition to the EGP system with effect from the 1st of July, the year 2025. And Roman 2, circular number OP/CAB6/2A, dated the 5th of June, the year 2025, from the Head of Public Service, reiterating the need for all procuring entities to onboard into the EGP system, which occasioned the issuance of circular number 4 of the year 2025. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
Order number 10, the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023, second reading, resumption of debate.
In this debate, the Honorable member of the Honorable John Gitonga. No. John Gitonga had 3 minutes left, but I think he is not in now. Order. But then we have the Honorable Dr. John Mutunga, who is the chairperson of the committee, Departmental Committee on Agriculture, who now will have the floor. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the amendments to the T bill. Honorable Speaker, we have gone through a long process of coming up with a legislation that serves the sector, the tea sector. As we've been doing, we have completely sorted out the sugar sector. And Kenya is going to be sugar self-sufficient in the next 2 years. This is because we have identified the bottlenecks, we have identified the challenges, we have identified the law centers, and we have plugged these law centers, and we have contained the industry very well. This time around, we are looking at the tea sector, and we are doing this in due consideration of the fact that being a devolved function, agriculture happens a lot at the local level. And this bill came from Senate, and is therefore being co-sponsored by my vice chair in this House. Honourable Speaker, the bill comes in principally to amend the provisions of the Tea Act, Cap 343, sorry, to basically restructure the value chain, enhance transparency within the value chain and accountability, better manage the tea sales, improve the grower earnings of the farmers, promote value addition, and strengthen regulatory framework governing the tea industry in this particular country. Tea is one of the key foreign exchange earners of this country. It is one that has remained top in the list in terms of foreign exchange earning, and it is one that has not dwindled just like coffee did. We still have our quota in the global market because tea farmers have been very, very committed to the cause. Honourable Speaker, the recent happenings in terms of the price differentials between the East and the West of the Rift Valley is disheartening. It is disheartening to the extent that we need to quickly take care of this situation so that we do not discourage tea farmers. If we discourage tea farmers, we lose a lot as a country. We lose the foreign exchange in terms of the foreign currency. We also lose the external markets that have relied on us and that trust our tea. Our tea, just like coffee, is specialty to the extent that it is very, very well, it is demanded a lot because of its quality, because of its aroma, because of its taste. And therefore, we would like to keep Kenya at the top of the global tea producers, and not just in terms of volume, but also in terms of quality. And that is why it is important for us to address this particular issue of pricing. And Honourable Speaker, what has happened is that I did present a statement yesterday in this House and promised that we have already started the process of inquiry into the causes of the differential in terms of the tea pricing. We realize that most of the factories in the west of the Rift Valley are earning much less in terms of bonus, while in the east of the Rift Valley, they are earning a lot better. Although, of course, some of them in the east of the Rift Valley are sharing the same kind of levels in terms of earning. We want to go to the depth and breadth of this. We want to identify exactly why a factory should sell the leaves and earn more money, while another factory in another part of the country will sell the same type of variety of leaves and earn less money. Honourable Speaker, this inquiry goes deeper into identifying the cost centers within these factories and trying to ask ourselves, are we rational in the decision-making in terms of the cost? We will also investigate the institutions that are partnering in terms of moderating the tea management in this particular country. Any institution that is within the tea value chain will be investigated to the extent that we need to know what is the role of this institution. How does that particular role or the function of that particular institution, how does it affect the industry? Honourable Speaker, we have in mind that tea is not just sold through one management agency, or we do not pass our tea to one management agency. Our tea passes through multiple management agencies, key among them being the Kenya Tea Development Agency. And we have other private agencies. Honourable Speaker, most of the management agencies, per se, do not produce tea. They only manage the marketing and the value addition of tea. Therefore, we need to ask ourselves, does registration or licensing or incorporation of many management agencies become a factor in tea pricing? Is it an issue that we need to focus on? There are very many other issues that we need to look at. When we are dealing with the issues of sugarcane, we found that if we have to reduce the costs at the farmer level, we must increase on the varieties that give us high sucrose content. And that is why this country has invested in what we call CTC or cane testing, units, CTUs. Honourable Speaker, when it comes to tea, we are going to find out exactly how does the management of the factory affect affect the pricing. How does the staffing of this factory affect the pricing and so on? So we want to promise the Kenyan farmers that we shall come up with the correct issues that affect the farmers in this country in the tea pricing, and therefore deal with them. Coming back to the legislation, Honourable Speaker, this bill will achieve several issues, several benefits. One of them is to provide the institutionalization of tea sales. We want to allow Kenyans and others to sell tea directly. We have been selling tea through auction. We also want an alternative route that we can sell tea out there, so that Kenyan farmers can benefit a lot more than probably they are benefiting right now. We want to guarantee timely disbursement of resources or the proceeds from the tea sales. We also want to improve to incentivize the Kenyan tea producers to basically add value to their tea. In this case, we are coming up to propose that anybody who is going to add value to the tea will be exempted from the levies that there be in the tea industry. This will encourage many Kenyans or many players within the sector to basically add value to their tea before they sell. Because we sell tea as brown CTC, and that is not really value added, we would like tea to be sold direct for consumption. And we realize that, Honourable Speaker, in most parts of the world, as you move, you realize that you get tea. Our tea is mixed with other herbs, let me call them so, because they are not really tea. Sometimes you don't even get the color, you do not get the taste, you do not get the smell. So it means, therefore, that those teas are not as good as ours, and that is why our tea is used for blending for purposes of improving the quality of those other teas. We want also to enhance the government architecture of the tea, the governance architecture of the Tea Board of Kenya. We want to scrutinize closely the Tea Board of Kenya. We try to look at the levels of representation. We try to manage the quality of representation within the Tea Board of Kenya so that we can have the right people having the right, taking the right positions within the board. We also want to harmonize the statutory definitions and the terminologies that are employed within the law itself, so that the law speaks clearly to the users of this particular law to manage the industry. Honourable Speaker, allow me to just basically highlight some of the issues that have been captured in this particular bill, and one of them is direct sales. It is important for us to understand what direct sales means. This is basically a proposed introduction of direct marketing of tea overseas, so that people can sell, allowing licensed factories or entities that represent the growers to sell tea directly instead of passing through the auction. This is an opportunity to earn the growers more money, to give them more value for the tea, and that is why the law comes in to say that it is possible for us to basically do tea sales directly. The other issue that is important is the issue of the cost within the tea management itself. Post-harvesting of the tea means that there is a collection center where the tea is taken. From the collection center, there is weighing, of course, and recording of the weights, and then there is movement of this tea to the factories where tea is semi-processed. Honourable Speaker, we are looking at how are these costs managed? What are these costs? How do we make sure that these costs do not overburden the farmers? We have scrutinized on the levies, and we have to scrutinize at the taxes, and we have to scrutinize at every other cost. And, Honourable Speaker, we have proposed that within this particular legislation, there are going to be provisions to the marketing function, the management, the post-harvest management of the tea, and there is also going to be some provision for the pre and post, the entire value chain management in terms of the regulatory function of it. The regulatory function will be played by the Tea Board of Kenya, and therefore we are provided for the Tea Board of Kenya to be able to run that particular function effectively. And then the post-harvest tea, post-picking, is going to be played, it will be done by various institutions, including the Kenya Tea Development Agency. Honourable Speaker, we have given power for factories that are managing the tea to do, direct marketing, as I said. The tea industry is a very critical sector in Kenya and the economy of this country. So the committee has basically looked at how do we make it possible for people to, for the farmers to benefit a lot more than they are doing right now. We have had intensive public participation. We have engaged institutions to make sure that we can get the best opinions from everyone, and these opinions have been incorporated into the new legislation, and the new legislation looks a lot better than before. Madam Speaker, there are a few issues that I might want to highlight that have come into this new legislation that are important. One of them is that we decided to allow allow the control of tea to be made a lot more by the owners. The owners of the tea are the farmers. So we have given them the possibility to constitute the board and the possibility to be able to manage the produce themselves through their representative legislation. They have a way of electing directors into the into the factoring directors, and these factory directors are the ones that run the show. Honourable Speaker, there are other issues that have been also discussed in the tea, in the management of the tea. The e-commerce issue, whereby we have introduced the e-commerce for purposes of international trading of tea, so that tea can be channeled properly through a registered e-commerce system. We have also been able to introduce other options that will help in the tea management, and also adopted what probably will look good in this particular, in the legislation itself. Honourable Speaker, for instance, we did introduce guidelines on governance, the ethics, and the conduct of tea directors. This is something that most of the time when doing legislations, people avoid, but we realize that it is important for the tea directors, their ethics to be looked into, the conduct of the tea directors to be looked into, so that we do not have people enriching themselves with the process of the crop, of the farmers. Madam Speaker, we also looked at what other provisions have been made in the legislation. I looked at the logic of these provisions, bettering the farmer in terms of enabling them to get better input in the right time, and enabling them to be able to sell their produce better, and also to promote tea, value addition in this country. Bearing in mind that this country requires employment, and since we require employment, Honourable Speaker, value addition of tea will offer a lot of employment, because more than 600,000 farm families depend on tea, and that by the multiplier effect is such that we have a lot more people dependent. And besides that, Honourable Speaker, we have also the industrialization through the value addition, turning the value, the condition, or rather the state of the produce, will engage many people in the collection, many people in the actual, transformation, many people in packaging, many people in transportation and marketing, which will also open avenues for tea, for employment. And this will help this country grow its income. It will help this country engage more of the youth in the industry, and it will enable us also to intensify in terms of tea production. Honourable Speaker, with those very few remarks, I wish to support the report. Thank you.
Mwiti has an interest in this matter also.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, let me thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in this important bill, which really touches the people of South Immente that I represent. I represent a constituency with 3 tea factories, that is Kionyo, Kinolo, and the main tea factory where I was a director. Mr. Speaker, this bill is very, very important, mainly because it is dealing with the direct sales of the tea. And when factories or autonomy is given to factories to deal with direct sales, means that they are going to earn more money, they are going to control the market. And in this case, Mr. Speaker, they are going to negotiate for the prices and payment of the tea process
will be higher than they are today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, direct sales will lead to better marketing of the tea to various countries. Our main market at the moment, Mr. Speaker, is Pakistan and other parts of Asia. But, Mr. Speaker, tea is sold through the auction and factories have no mandate to sell their tea directly. Mr. Speaker, through opening up of the tea sales, we also give fair pricing and the timely payments will be achieved, Mr. Speaker, by the factories, enabling their farmers. Mr. Speaker, the bill also allows the local variation in which, Mr. Speaker, will encourage the packaging and the branding of the tea of various factories to their choice, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it shall also be credible for the factories themselves to do the sales directly through their outlets. Mr. Speaker, the advantages of opening the sales directory mainly increases the profitability of the tea. This by allowing the factories to engage in the direct sales and auctioning of their products will enable them to capture more value for their products. Mr. Speaker, this bill will also improve market diversification. Opening up sales channels creates opportunities to factories to explore new and diverse markets by selling directly to the importers and the consumers. Mr. Speaker, direct sales will also eliminate the middlemen who influence the market, who influence the prices. In the traditional action system, Mr. Speaker, middlemen often play a significant role, taking a portion of the profits that should go to the farmers, Mr. Speaker. And these intermediaries allow farmers and factories to retain a share of their profit. Mr. Speaker, this bill will also improve the quality of the assurance of the tea that we produce. Mr. Speaker, with the ability to sell directly through various channels, factories can give priority to quality but not quantity. Hence, they will be able to achieve more benefits. They will engage in a better quality control measures than they are today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there will be also increased value in the market. Value-added products such as packaged cheese, specialty in brands will really improve the quality and also, Mr. Speaker, the income. The factories will also, Mr. Speaker, manage to do their own brand. They will develop their own brands. Packaging allows factories, Mr. Speaker, to develop their brands and market their products more effectively. Mr. Speaker, there is also consumer convenience. Packaged tea, Mr. Speaker, offers convenience, making it easier for them to prepare and utilize the product. Mr. Speaker, there will also increase in job creation. Mr. Speaker, the validation process requires a skilled workforce, leading to job creation within the factories, and will also increase employment to the communities. Mr. Speaker, tea is a very, very important foreign earner in this great country of ours, and caution should be taken on decisions that are made. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we need to protect the tea industry and give leeway to direct sales, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, we also will facilitate payments of the tea directly, Mr. Speaker. Value addition, as I said earlier, Mr. Speaker, is very, very critical, and factories should be encouraged to do value addition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support this bill. Thank you.
Yegon, you still want to say something on this? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, I would like to...
Followed by Kagombe. Yeah, proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute on this very important bill on, on the tea amendment bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023. Mr. Speaker, I would like to say from the onset that I support this bill because there is, you see, from the recent bonuses we received, the farmers are really suffering because there are so many things which are going on which needs to be addressed. And Mr. Speaker, if you see how the bonuses or the monies received by these factories, it is inclined into a given area where you find some other areas, basically the bonuses are coming in very badly, especially from the west of Rift. I come from a constituency which is taking tea, my farmers are taking tea to Motigo Tea Factory, which they receive 12 shillings per kilo in this financial year, bonuses. Mr. Speaker, if you see, there was something which I was checking on why some other areas are getting better remuneration to their farmers and others are suffering. There is one factory which is in the west of Rift, which recently got more than 45 shillings per kilo, while the rest were coming down from 20 shillings, 13 shillings, 15 shillings from the same region. And when I inquired, when I checked, Mr. Speaker, there is one director which is sitting in the board of KTDA. And this director is coming from around that area where a factory called Mamul is situated. The farmers from that area got very good remuneration, while the rest, really, Mr. Speaker, are really suffering.
Yes, what's your point of order?
I'm supporting this bill.
Honorable Kagombe, relax.
No, just a point of order to make things clear. I think it will be, I know this is an emotive issue, but it is important to stick and to keep to the bill that has been, the amendments that are being done.
Yes.
The issues that the honorable member is talking about of individual factories and the management agent, which is just one management agent against 5 that are licensed by T-Board of Kenya.
Yes.
And the insinuation that someone who is elected by members of a tea factory to represent them in a setup that is called KTDA does not really find itself or its way in this amendment bill. And it is also important that the member, while discussing, be very factual. This house here is a house, and this is a debate that is being taken very seriously by the people. When you insinuate that a factory got money because someone sits at the KTDA board. Yet, what we are just about to go finding out, and it is you, the Speaker, who told this committee yesterday to go and do findings so that we come in 3 weeks and tell you why there's a price differential between the two regions. Then we would be putting the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, rather, because we have not gone out. The honorable member, you ruled that the honorable member joins the committee to go on a fact-finding mission. I beg, Mr. Speaker, that he, at this point, sticks to what we're discussing, which is the amendment bill that came from Senate. Then, at the appropriate time, to discuss the disparity and the dichotomy in payment of bonus or the second payment, then after we have gone out and found facts. Otherwise, what he's doing now is prejudicing the public and prejudicing this House and prejudicing the Speaker of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I would ask that he withdraws and he keeps to this particular issue because, of course, as he was addressed here and you said he will have all the time to address that issue of price disparity. With a lot of respect. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honorable member, I know he has a lot of interest because I know he's one of the farmers like myself. And it is good that we truly agitate for our farmers and everybody. I support these amendments of this, what we are going to do. And I was just bringing facts whereby somebody is sitting in the board of KTDA and why is all the factories coming from the west of Rift are getting very minimal dues, while the factory which is really coming from that, one of these directors is coming from, really got more than double the prices of what the other factories are getting. So anyway, this fact-finding mission we are going to do, and we are going to come with the report in more than 3 weeks. I would like to say the issues, those factual issues we are going to bring.
Honorable Yegon, we have, the standing order is very clear. You have to be factual and relevant.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Motion, so maintain that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand guided, but I'm going to be factual and bring the facts to this parliament after 3 weeks of the Hardo Committee completing the facts finding. And Mr. Speaker, there are so many things whereby we need to do, including the issues of testing tea by mouth. The direct sales are going to be very important again, Mr. Speaker, by which it's going to give the farmers a good remuneration instead of going to these auctions in Mombasa and where a lot of bureaucracy is going on. And again, the issues of selling tea in sacks instead of making value addition to this is another thing which we need to go into that direction, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that our farmers benefit across the country. There is also, Mr. Speaker, I think those are the few things, Mr. Speaker, which I wanted to bring as we just go to for this fact-finding mission. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Just for the benefit of the chair, maybe either you or the Honorable Mutunga can say, although I'm not a tea farmer or a coffee farmer, I can safely say that because of the space those two cash crops occupy in our country, throughout our history, right from the colonial history to our independence history. And having been one of the very few founders of what was called COTEPA, Coffee and Tea Parliamentary Association, in 1993, if my memory serves me right, along with the Honorable Paul Mwite, the Honorable Kreitu Murungi, and the Honorable Ndwiga from Embu. Once you have powers are given, or rather the bureaucracy is removed and the factories have got to, individual factories and farmers have got to go and market their coffee wherever they want. Why the price differentials And the quality is the same because Mutunga, I listened to you very keenly. And he said that the price is the same. I mean, the quality is the same on both sides. But there is a serious price differentials. Where would the problem be? Yes, Mutunga, because you're the chair.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for that very thought-through question. Honourable Speaker, the reason why we requested for an inquiry as a committee is because this issue has been misused. It is emotive, all right. Some farmers have even uprooted their plantations. Others have negated tea production. They are leaving the tea bushes to grow into trees, which is not supposed to be the case. And quite a number are also demoralized because of the pricing regimes. But, Honourable Speaker, there are some intricacies that we believe could be the causes of this differential. Number one, the cost at the factory level. Different factories have different costs of processing. Not because of the equipment, but the cost in terms of the human resource. Some have overestablished. They are overestablished in terms of human resource. Some other factories have made it deliberately lean, which is painful when it comes to the community that basically owns the factory, because factories are owned by the communities that grow tea. The other issue, Honourable Speaker, is the issue of licensing many private buyers and tea hawking. Tea hawking has the connotation of encouraging downgrading the quality. Because when Kenya Tea Development Agency rejects tea because it is of poor quality, then those hawkers will basically come and buy that tea. So go and process it and sell it. But remember, Honourable Speaker, only KTDA offers farmers bonus. It is only KTDA that gives farmers bonus. All the others just buy, process, sell. So they finish the business at that point in time. The other issue that we shall be investigating very, very closely, Honourable Speaker, is the issue of other influencers in terms of the pricing, because they are there. One of them has to do with the capacity of the factory to run, the machine to run over time, and the establishment of that capacity based on the availability of tea. I think all the private tea processors do not own a single tea plant. So they will rely on tea that they can hawk, they can get from anywhere. And Honourable Speaker, in this house, we have some of those owners of those factories in this particular house. So we were discussing this issue so that it can help Kenyans, not necessarily the investors in the sector, post-production investors. We want the producers to benefit. Now, the problem of having very many factories licensed to buy and sell tea, buy, process, and sell, is that there is the great competition. When this competition, but initially, during the establishment of the Kenya Tea Development Agency, and may I pause to say this, Honourable Speaker, Kenya Tea Development Agency is quoted globally as the most effective smallholder tea management agency, all over. And this is purely by people who do not even know Kenya, but they know KTDA. They know it's smallholder, it has collection centers, it has a transport system, it has factories, it has, the processing units, and it has, these processing units are owned by farmers through the elected director and managed by the elected directors. Now, the issue here is the factories are set based on the factories are set at the initial stage of buying the equipment, and they look at how much tea are we going to process. Now, they set the machine, they buy the machine that is commensurate to the tea to be processed. They hire the manpower commensurate to the amount of tea to be processed. Then somewhere along the way, we introduce new private processors who were not in the equation. So what happens is that this processor stays idle for a certain period of time. It is costly to the factory. They are paying the personnel, the operation, the fixed costs are running. Then there is an issue there. The factory must pay those costs and then compete with the others. Again, when farmers have an alternative, sometimes they sell a bit here, and sell a bit there. KTDA establishment may not lay off staff because they don't know whether the tea will be available or not. There is no possibility of telling whether the farmers will sell out there or not. We need to fix that bit as well. So there's a lot that we are going to find out. And that is the time the Honorable Member who has just been speaking will come to this house and tell us so-and-so is the one who is making this and give us the facts. But you shall have the facts.
But you've made it a lot more clearer. It's the liberalization, the opening up of the market itself and making it a free market has got its own challenges also, because you have so many people who take advantage of that, and basically because they are no longer regulated, then they buy the tea for whatever price. And as you put it, there is a lot of overheads and certain costs that are occasioned by the fact that there are too many factories and too many buyers. Am I right? Too many buyers and too many. Anyway, that was just for my benefit myself. Yes, I think. Is there any more? You, Kagombe, you are the last one on this, I think.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this amendment. I would want to, you had asked the Honorable Chairman to say something to your benefit. And it would be Yes.
On this? Yes, proceed.
Yes. So I was just saying that what you had asked the chairman about, something for your benefit, it is that the proliferation or the opening up of the business is not bad. But there are two levels. Yes. There's the business of the manufactured tea, which you want to make sure is open, so that you do not go to the auction or alone, so that you can get other markets of manufactured tea. What is not allowed and what is not good for the market is the proliferation or opening up of green leaf, which is regulated by Tea Board, and which is a crime, by the way, by this by the poaching and hawking of tea is a crime that attracts a fine of 10 million shillings in this amendment, in this act that we are amending. So that is where the problem is. But I will see you privately and explain better before and when we go for the fact-finding mission. Mr. Speaker, tea had contributed 27% of all the foreign income that we had earned last year. It was only second to what we call monies that come from our diaspora, what we call diaspora remittances, which had contributed 30%. Kenya is number 3 in production of tea, only after China and India. Sri Lanka comes at number 4. Then we have Vietnam, Turkey, Iran, Indonesia, Argentina, and Japan following in that order, all the way to number 10. But Kenya is number 1 tea exporter in the world, Mr. Speaker. Because most of these other countries that are ahead of us, like India and China, they have capacity to consume their tea. We only consume 1 to maximum 3% of the teas that we produced. So the tea that we produce here will only make sense to the farmer if it goes to the markets outside. One of the things that we wanted to address in this bill, and what this bill addresses, is the banning of direct sales overseas. Direct sales overseas, Mr. Speaker, means that a factory or a producer can have a forward contract with someone who wants a certain particular blend that is unable to be found at the auction. The auction only sells 6 grades, Mr. Speaker. It says PD, PF1, Dust 1, and Fannings. Those are only 6 grades, Mr. Speaker, especially when it comes to Black City, which is what we produce. We are trying to get into the orthodox market, but we have not done it properly. Mr. Speaker, when you ban direct sales overseas like had been done by the law in the past, what it means is that all the teas, and one of the greatest things that we're trying to cure is what the Act had prescribed, that all the teas must be provided for sale at the auction. What that means, Mr. Speaker, and I know you understand, that any market follows market forces, demand and supply. You remember there was noise last year when there was a glut in Mombasa where tea reached levels of 104 million kilograms, yet the market has only capacity to absorb a maximum of 8 million kilos. What happens to the farmer? The buyers who are not Kenyans, like I've told you that 98% of the tea is going to be consumed elsewhere, then the people who are buying will be very happy because they know you have 104 million kilos and we can only absorb 8, so we will take the price we will give the price that we want. It becomes a buyer's market. So what we want and what we are curing in this amendment is opening the DSO so that now there could be other avenues to pick up the sales, so that we reduce the tea that goes to the auction. Because the auction is taken to be the best place for price exploration, while it is not necessarily the best place to explore price. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, is value addition. We have been selling our teas in bulk, in containers in bags of 70 kilograms. And you know very well that the people who are going to be consuming this tea will be buying a maximum of 1 kilo. So it means that there will be someone who will be doing that value addition and probably adding other tastes like you find cinnamon and tangawizi and everything, and making the differential. So what you're doing by opening up value addition and allowing for value addition is to make sure that most of the monies in the value chain, because the tea here that got a farmer 250 billion Kenya shillings, was actually worth in the actual market more than 500 billion Kenya shillings. So all this money would have been left in Kenya if we did value addition in the country. The other thing that is cost of production are things that we had wanted to see. There has been a lot of laws that have been made in the tea industry. There's a serious dichotomy. Mr. Speaker, there are 71 small-scale farmer factories, and there are 71 large-scale farmer factories. The 71 factories that are owned by the small-scale farmers have been the ones targeted by laws. When we stop DSO, it only stops DSO partly because the definition that had been given to a factory was defective. Only making sure that these laws are only made for the small-scale farmer. The DSO that was stopped did not affect the big-scale farmers. And there's a strict dichotomy. It is 71 against 71. And these are the things that, Mr. Speaker, we've been trying to address. The other issue that is in this amendment is the issue of licensing of factories. As you may have heard, an issue that is called between the West and the East, which I really am opposed to, because every factory goes to the market as a garden mark. There is no, oh, we now belong to this block or we belong to this block. Every factory goes to the market as an individual garden mark that is known in the market. And it is upon all of us to make sure that we help the farmers whose garden marks are not attracting good money to make sure that they do. And how to help them in that is to make sure that we help in research. We help in making sure that we have markets outside this country. And that is why we're looking for money to give to Tea Board of Kenya to make sure that they do not rely on the maybe money that is not forthcoming from the consolidated fund, and they're able to go and get markets for this tea. They're able to make more research, especially in ways of using manufactured tea, and especially on ways to make better teas that are acceptable to the to the newer and younger generation that does not take tea like it has been taken in the past. With that many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Fair enough. There being no more further interest in this, the chair will put the question at an appropriate time in the future. Appropriate date next week. And let's go to the next order.
Order number 11, motion, Consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2024 on the National Green Fiscal Incentives Policy Framework.
Do we have the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining? We don't have him in the House. I think this also, I direct that this be placed on the order paper at an appropriate time in the future when the chair can move this motion. Next order.
Order number 12, the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2025, second reading.
I don't see the leader of the majority party in the House. I also direct that this business be placed on the order paper at an appropriate moment in the future. Next order.
Order number 13, the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2025, second reading.
The direction on this is the same as the direction on the order number 12, because the leader of the majority party is not in the House. That I direct this be placed also on the order paper at a moment in the future when it can be moved by the leader of the majority party in the House. Next order.
Order number 14, motion, first report on the status of implementation of the Constitution by 3 commissions.
I have been approached by the chair of the chairperson of the Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee, that this business be placed as a priority on the order paper next week. I direct that it be placed on the order paper next week as a priority. Proceed. Next order.
Order number 15, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Judiciary Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial years 2011-2012 to 2021-2022.
There again, the chairperson of Special Funds Accounts Committee is not in the House. I direct that this matter also be placed on the order paper at a future date when the chairperson of the Special Funds Accounts Committee will be in the House to move this motion. Next order.
Order number 16, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Commodities Fund for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2021-2022.
I give the same direction as I had given to order number 15 because it's the same chairperson of the Special Funds Accounts Committee, and I direct also this be placed on the order paper at a future date when the same chairman will be in a position to move this motion. Next order.
Order number 17, the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025, second reading.
This also I direct because the leader of the majority party is the one who is supposed to move this bill, and the bill, or rather the business, be placed on the order paper at an appropriate date in the future when the majority leader is in the House to move this bill.
Order number 18, motion, consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2023 on the National Policy on Labor Migration.
My presumption is that the chairperson Departmental Committee on Labor is not in the House. Under the circumstances, I also direct that this business be placed on the order paper at a future date. Next order.
Order number 19, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Stores and Services Fund for the financial years 2020-2021 and 2021-2022, and the Occupational Safety and Health Fund for the financial years 2020-2021 and 2021-2022.
This is another business that was supposed to have been moved also by the chairperson of the Special Funds Accounts Committee, who is not in the House. I direct the same way I directed the previous one, so for the same committee, that this business be placed on the order paper at an appropriate moment, or rather appropriate date in the future, when the chairperson of the Special Funds Accounts Committee can move it. Next order.
Order number 20, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Land Settlement Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, and 2021-2022, and the Railway Development Fund holding account for the financial years 2017-2018 to 2021-2022.
I give a similar direction to the order number 19. Order number 20 also concerns, or are they supposed to be moved by the chairperson, Special Funds Accounts Committee, who is not in the House now, that this business be placed on the order paper at an appropriate date in the future when the said chair can move this business. Next order.
Order number 21, the Provisional Collection of Taxes and Duties Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2025, second reading.
This business was also supposed to be moved by the leader of the majority party in the House, Honorable Ichungwa Kimani, who is not in the House today. I direct that this business also be placed on the order paper at an appropriate time or an appropriate date in the future when he will be in a position to move it. Honorable members, there being no other business on the order paper today, and the time being 6:35 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 11th of November, the year 2025, at 2:30 p.m.